Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss along with Paulie Howard. We are live in downtown Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Busy 3-hour program lined up for you here on a Monday. Obviously, plenty of playoff action in the NBA and the NHL. We'll hit it several times throughout today's Major League Baseball schedule. An update on the most wins in April market, which is always fun now that we have 4 days left in this month. Great guest on today's program as well. Ryan Heath is going to join us in 30 minutes. FantasyPoints.com. He had an incredible breakdown basically the night after round one of the draft, and with tons of data focusing on player landing spots that he liked and that he did not like. We'll hit that. Maybe there's a bet to make in the Rookie of the Year market at that point. Nick Whalen, tonight's NBA best bets with player props, and professional sports bettor Aaron Renning on the program as well. He's one of the best to do it in the NBA, which is where we are going to begin. Paul, should the Nuggets, and I'm looking at the screen right now, I see multiple sports books where Denver is an 11.5-point favorite. I look, just like anybody else, I get it. I know what's going on with the Timberwolves. DiVincenzo, that sucks. And Edwards, same thing. Mm-hmm. Should they be laying 11.5 in this game?
Out of respect. You'll never see it again. I texted you Friday night. I couldn't believe it. The series price was $1.30.
Yeah.
It's only gone up 20 cents. The team's up 3-1. I know. And the injuries, how about this? 4 guys in the NBA have torn their Achilles in the last 2 years. They all have number 0. They wear the same jersey number. That's crazy.
What, Tatum, DiVincenzo?
Lillard.
What was Halliburton? Was he 0 too?
Can you believe that?
Oh, my God.
That's funky. That is satanic black magic there. But what happened Friday was all time. The comeback, the injuries, there's a shooting. You got to change channels because they're finding out what's going on with the president and what the second most points ever scored by a guy off the bench.
Yeah.
And what he did after the game, Randall, I had no idea he was this good. I remember a little bit in Chicago. That's a great line. Good. I know. And DeSumo goes crazy. So it's just fascinating now what you do with his props, what you do with McDaniels. Then you got the altercation at the end of the game. I thought maybe there could be suspensions. It doesn't sound good for Gordon, even if he's able to go today, based on what Edelman said and how he was, a gamer in the last game. And it's also, are they going to blow this up? I mean, if they lose this series, I would expect big changes in Denver. And who knows, maybe a coaching change. Because a lot of people are saying the window is closed. And this is, this would be unbelievable if the guy only wins 1 ring when it's all said and done.
We're going to have several spots next year that are going to look completely different because of that. I think it's the end of Joel Embiid in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And certainly it looks like it's going to be the end for Giannis Antetokounmpo in Milwaukee as well.
Yeah. But what Gobert is doing to him,
amazing,
and what they've done defensively and had their number. I mean, Murray's shooting 26% from 3, and he's shooting 32% for the series, and Joker is shooting 39% for the series, and he's been terrible from 3. So to answer your question, no. And it's also who's out hustling and out working the opposition. All Minnesota, getting to loose balls, steals, easy baskets, playing with a ton of confidence. I mean, he's the king of talking trash and backing it up at McDaniels. I mean, what the confidence he's playing with, and I wouldn't be surprised if McDaniels and DeSumo have a huge game again tonight.
Well, this is going to there is a chance here where we're going to have some fisticuffs in the game, though. The way it ended and the way that Joker responded to that. And by the way, he chose that moment to run his fastest in the entire series so far.
But that's fair.
And go after the guy at the end of the game. He's also, because of what you said about Gobert, this is the worst series he's ever played. The guy looks more mortal for the first time that I think almost ever remember in his career.
Right.
And so, but here's the thing. You're now chasing DeSumo. It's 20.5 at some spots, 19.5.
Well,
so Nas reads 12.5. What about Bones Highland at 9.5 or 10.5? He's going to get run tonight in the game.
Yeah.
There's no doubt he's going to get minutes, and I'm sure take plenty of shots.
Well, the other thing is he's going to get more shots, though. That's the thing. He had 43 points on 17 shots. Mm-hmm. That's incredible. And he's averaging 22 in the series and shooting 64% and 52% from 3, but he's playing for a big contract as well. And what are the Chicago Bulls doing? Trading him. And I didn't like the White trade, but this is worse because this guy's going to get a ton of money based on how well he's playing. So, yeah, you're chasing. but plus money at DraftKings to score 20 points. He's in his zone, and he's playing for a ton of money.
There's also this, not all of that factored in, plus the Nuggets, they're awful defensively.
Yeah.
As we all knew going into the series, that was going to be potentially the downfall. I will tell you this, that there is one team that certainly wants Minnesota to take care of them immediately, and that would be the San Antonio Spurs. I think that they're now going back home, laying a big number in Game 5, up 3-1. How about that turnaround yesterday, by the way? Down 17 at halftime, and you absolutely blitzed them. So they're laying 12.5 in that game. They got to be sitting there watching the game tonight, just basically saying, can you please finish off Denver like tonight or in Game 6 when you go back home? Because we want this Minnesota team without DiVincenzo and probably without Ant as well in the next round.
Can I interest you in Denver 16-1 to win the West? Because you'll hate yourself if it comes in. Like, would you fall over if they're up 2-1 in the conference finals against OKC? You're betting on Joker and Murray to figure it out. They've done this twice already in the same year in the bubble, rallied down 3-1. I don't know what's going to happen with Watson. Maybe you get him back in the next series. You're just betting on two great players figuring it out, and you're a huge favorite here. You're laying 11. You'll be favored in Minnesota, and you'll be laying a big number at home in Game 7. And the Spurs have been playing with their food so far. I mean, we're down 15 in both games in Portland.
Okay, but here's the thing. When you watch the Spurs play, now I get that first half, you're down 58-41 at halftime. I realize that. That second half of action in Portland, to blow them out of the water, I'm sitting back thinking, this is going to be San Antonio and Oklahoma City for the next 10 years. Like, this team, they hit on every pick. Mm-hmm. And they got the De'Aaron Fox trade was absolutely brilliant.
Well, he finally showed up.
Oh, he did.
Great. I know, but Harper off the bench, hello.
Oh, I mean, that was... And Castle, like, every time I watch him, he gets better. And Wemby is just, here's the thing, like, for those people who have hated the NBA since the 90s, you have to just do yourself a favor and watch Wemby play. That's all I'm asking you. That's all I'm telling you. If you refuse to buy into this sport, the guy will never see anything like this ever again. I can confidently say that.
Right.
To watch him out there at 7-5 with the way that he operates, and he's on his 7th block of the game yesterday, just dominating the game like that. And Castle fell to them at 4 overall in that draft a couple years ago. So, man.
Chad Andrews says I'm crazy, and he's on with Humans and Murray coming up later tonight. And he expects them to blow it up if they lose this series.
Well,
but I just think I can't count them out because they've done it before, and you're betting on one of the best players ever figuring it out, and there are 2 key injuries with Minnesota. Maybe DiVincenzo isn't that big.
And how about this? Maybe Ant's not that big because possible. Minnesota had hurt. No problems multiple times without the guy.
Yeah. And they were telling Finch over and over in the regular season, don't worry about it. Wait till the playoffs. And so far they look, they were playing games and they were right. But I don't have a lot of confidence in Randall. And he's at 19.5, 20 as well.
No, I'd look elsewhere other than him,
but
too.
Yes, Naz Reid, Bones Highland, those kind of guys. But the other thing is, the Porter trade is a debacle. Cam Johnson's been terrible.
I'll raise my hand on that one.
Huh?
I did not expect Porter to play that many games, but I thought that was going to be an upgrade based on Porter's back problems, and clearly was not.
Right, and you can be angry at ownership. I mean, I don't blame you. That Kroenke's worth $8 billion. He owns Arsenal, the Rams, Colorado Avalanche, and the Nuggets. And they didn't want to spend money and build around Joker, and that's the reason they traded Porter as well.
Yeah, and Jamal Murray's made 1 All-Star appearance. That's it. That's the only guy ever to play with Joker.
Yeah.
Now, there is this angle as well. This is from BetLab Sports. Home playoff favorites off of 3 straight up in ATS losses. 12-3 ATS since 2012, 1-0 this season. That would be Denver laying the 10.5, 11, again, 11.5's out there as well. And I'll tell you another one for tonight. I'm like, there's no way I'd lay with Denver, though. I wouldn't. Mm-hmm. Can I interest you in a little Detroit Pistons action tonight?
No way. I like the Magic again.
I knew it. But here's the problem.
Yep.
The extender is on the series, my friend.
Foster's
Scott
alive
Foster,
and well.
he got the call.
Got that. Well, what's Duran going to do? I mean, for this guy, and he was the favorite most of the year to win Most Improved, and for him to put up 23-9, and he's averaging 9-6 in the series and getting thoroughly outplayed by Carter Jr.? No way. No way. And Tim Bontemps from ESPN had a good point. If you're playing pickup ball and you're drafting a team, you're probably getting to 5 Orlando guys before you get to 3 Detroit guys. So in August, Orlando had a higher win total and was expected to be like a 3 or a 4 seed.
True.
Detroit wasn't supposed to do much. They were 20-1 to get the 1 seed. But everyone has been saying it's a fluke. They'll get exposed. They only have Cade. yada, yada, and now the other guys aren't playing well. But this is where it's not really, it's a 1 against an 8, but for 83 games, Orlando screwed around. And now they're finally showing up, whatever it was, and that the light went off, but they had a higher win total, projected to have a much better year than the Pistons. So I think they win again tonight, go up 3-1.
Now, we're on opposite sides here. It's Detroit or nothing for me, but I also don't want to be late to the party here because the number has moved and it's a bad number at this point.
That's too much. They're down 17 in the last game, in the fourth quarter.
I'm pretty convinced Detroit wins the game tonight.
Oh.
Yeah. But I just got to wait. Maybe I'll get involved in play, something like that.
Need Duren to show up. It's been terrible.
We will. So the thing about Detroit is they played like every regular season game, like their contracts were on the line. And you had to love that out of them for a full 82 game season, obviously going back to the regular part of it. And now I think we're going to get just that A+ effort out of this team tonight. And if Duren is ever going to have a big game, then it would be tonight. And the Scott Foster thing, you can laugh at that a little bit, but there's a reason why he's called that nickname in his entire career. Hell, wasn't he just on the Hawks-Knicks game? Game 4, big one there for the Knicks. I think he was over the weekend. So, yeah, I like the Pistons win the game, but they've been terrible so far. And it also kills me because
I had one good quarter.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Hornets also would have been up like 2-1 against this team potentially.
Yep.
Yep.
Other than the third quarter of game 2, Orlando's been much the best here.
And the same message, by the way, for the Philadelphia Flyers as I have for the Los Angeles Lakers. You got to finish off the team in Game 5. You can't have a Game 6 or beyond. Up next, today's Major League Baseball card down to the final 4 days in April. There's a good sweat going on for the most wins this month, and a few crazy scenarios can still unfold.
So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools, but what they don't want you to know is you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. With VSiN Pro, you get access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Today's baseball card here, no day games. They're all a little bit later on in the evening. I'll point this out. Only 4 days left in April. We talk about this a lot. We bet on it every single month. So the most wins in the month of April market. As of right now, the Atlanta Braves have 17 and the San Diego Padres have 17 as well. The Cubs, the Reds, and the Dodgers each have 15 wins so far. The Braves have the day off today. They'll get 3 with the Tigers to close the month. The Padres have a 3-game set starting today at home against the Cubs.
Yeah.
They're back from a long road trip, which includes the 2 games over the weekend against Arizona in Mexico. So Malinsky special kind of idea. Vasquez has been awesome. Boyd, not so much. So it looks like it's going to come down to those 2 teams. I have a bet on the Braves here at Circa. So I cannot have them split with the Padres because the tiebreaker is fewest games played. Now, the Padres are going to have 2 fewer games and almost win the month. How impressive is that?
Yep.
But I'll give you, here, a couple things could happen. I'm just going to throw it out there. If the Cubs sweep the Padres, they will finish with 18 wins. Then it depends on what the Braves would win. Now, what if they get swept by the Tigers? Under that scenario, the Cubs would still finish ahead of them and the Padres. But then it also comes down to what happens to the Reds and what happens to the Dodgers. They play 3 games to close out the month. If they sweep, they're going to finish with 18 games. So there is a scenario, both those teams right now in front by 2 games might not even cash.
Could be a mess at Caesars. You play out, could be a 3-way tie.
Oh, the dead heats, yeah.
The dead heats, how it could work out. But at least you get paid and it doesn't come down to where it's Circle. You only want to have 1 winner. But it's a great bet and it's a great race and a ton of fun.
And we will expand on May once Books will probably post odds for May, I'm guessing later on today or tomorrow. And then we'll discuss new teams that we want to attack it with. I saw some the preliminary look at the schedules, it looks pretty good for the Dodgers. I'll just say that. But you're going to get maybe 3-1 tops on LA. Not even. It could be lower than that, I guess. So, yikes.
They should have a lot more wins. The offense is letting them down.
Yeah.
And the bullpen in the Cubs game. But Yamamoto goes tonight, $3 favorite. One bad inning against the Giants. That's it. But other than that, he's been great. Quality start in each of his 5 outings. And you're paying a big price. But again, he should dominate tonight as well. And the Dodgers should get the win.
You want Max Muncy props at all?
Dialed in.
How many home runs he has?
Yeah. Right.
Now, very small sample size, but in his career against Paddock, your guy going tonight, Muncy is 4 for 15, 4 extra base hits. 2 of those have left the yard. God, the last time, it was last week when I made the case for Dodgers alternate run lines, and they got shut out, by the way. But how does the offense not get going against Paddock in this game?
Yeah.
He's terrible.
Yes, he is. Batting practice. Should be all over him. No doubt about it. You can lay your 2.5 runs tonight.
Okay.
Yep.
Yankees are taking on the Rangers. This is in Texas. Max Fried is going for the Pinstripers against Leiter. So far on the year, all of the numbers for Fried are sparkling. I mean, more than 40 innings pitched already, a 2.4 ERA. The expected ERA is lower than that. Hasn't allowed many home runs at all, 0.22 per 9. He has recorded 19-plus outs in 5 out of his 6 starts this year, and he's gone at least 7 innings in 3 of them. Leiter, the K numbers are good. His ERA is almost touching 5. And Fried's numbers against the Rangers, this particular lineup overall, 124 plate appearances, almost a 30% K rate out of him, and a 168 batting average, 260 with the weighted on base. So, again, over that sample size, the Rangers hitters haven't really done much. And this number's kind of been all over the map. There was a book that had almost 190 earlier, and now the Yankees are down to minus 160 here at Circa.
Yeah, seems a little cheap. I don't want Texas.
Neither do I.
We'll find out a lot about Texas coming up as they have it's the Yankees 6 times over the next 11 days at Detroit, Cubbies, Diamondbacks. So it's a tough schedule coming up, and I would think they lose tonight, and then we'll see. Tomorrow's DeGrom against Schlittler. That's phenomenal. So Yankees are hot, playing good ball. And 8 of their last 9, I think they win again. I think the price is right.
Best team in the American League?
Yes.
I think so, too.
Yes.
Imagine when they get all their guys back.
That's right. Get Cole back, right.
Yeah. And now, so the Red Sox are playing at the Blue Jays.
Who fires a manager and cleans house? He wins 17-1. But that's also, who put the roster together.
Yep.
People think Cora's a good manager, but it's one thing to get rid of the manager. They got rid of everybody. What happened?
Yep.
So Crochet said it stinks where he paid for our crimes. It's not his fault how bad the players have been in the team, but he whacked everybody here. So see how long the bump goes, if they can turn it around. But certainly biggest disappointment, huge disappointment.
I would totally agree.
And it's not like Toronto's great either, how they've struggled. So this is a tough series.
Remember the hype coming in on a guy like Roman Anthony for the Red Sox?
Yeah.
And he was bet down below 20-1 to win the American League MVP during the World Baseball Classic. And I said on the air, I'm like, look, I like the guy a lot. I'd like to have a big ticket on him. You can't bet him at 14 and 20-1. It's an absolutely ridiculous price. And he's one of the reasons why Cora's been fired. The guy's been an absolutely unmitigated disaster. He's way better than this, and he's got to perform.
Yeah.
And a month into the season, that's not necessarily going to be all of the manager's fault, obviously.
Your guy Cease has been good, but
he's been really good.
I don't like this at all. Trevor's story. It's up in the air what the true direction of the franchise is.
Well,
you're 11 and 17, and everyone's. How long are they going to give this? Give it a shot here, where it's like, okay, break out of it, or we clean house, and the fan base is furious. Sell the team, all this other stuff. They're ticked off, and this certainly shouldn't happen. Especially how good they were last year and the expectations of this year. Sure, it's been a disaster.
Well, if the fan base is sitting there telling you that they're mad because of ownership not thinking like they're in it to win it. They only want to print money. That's it. That's all they care about.
Yeah.
I get why they're so mad then.
Yep.
Because you're too good for this. And you won 4 titles in the span of 14 years? How about you act like it?
Right.
And make runs again and have good teams on the field when you're making that much money overall. Cease, you're exactly right. 15.5 Ks per 9 so far in the year. And against this Red Sox lineup in 59 plate appearances, a K rate higher than 32%. His, I know it's been very popular to bet him over with the K props this year. Feels like every time I bet on Dylan Cease, he goes out there and gives up about 6 runs in 3 innings. So the Sox are 8-14-6 so far in the first 5 this year. So bad overall and bad in the first 5.
All right. And the other, you got to come back with Messick, right? He's had 1 bad inning. He's 6-1 with a 2.30 in his career. They're 5-0 this year when he takes the ball. Mm-hmm. Other than the bad inning against the Astros, that was also coming off the near no-hitter that he had. Lowest ERA since August of 2025. Skeens, Yamamoto, Fried, Schlittler, Skubal, Parker, Messick. The real deal, this kid. And seems a good price against the Rays as well. And I think they get him some run support against Mats. So this has been a great story, what he's doing. They're 10-14 when anyone else starts. And he's been so good this year and in his career that this is the 4th lowest ERA in baseball as well. Sure. Soriano goes tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Yep. But he's got so many different pitches. I like his delivery. He's got great mechanics. And these stats and numbers don't lie. No, I would agree. They're telling a great story what he's doing. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball. Yep. I'll give you some other streaks as well right now. The Twins are 0-6 in the first 5. Some K streaks. Fried going tonight, but starting pitchers are on a 10-2 under run with their K prop against Texas. Starting pitchers are 9-2 under against Colorado, 5-0 under against Boston. That speaks into the Dylan Cease prop for tonight, and 6-2-1 under against Arizona. Well, how bad is it for the Mets and the Phillies right now? I mean, to get swept by the Rockies. Yeah. Braves can run away and hide. And they are. What, they scored 1 run, right? What'd they get in a doubleheader? 2 runs or something? Mm-hmm. It's an embarrassment. So it's there'll be more changes coming. I wouldn't be surprised if the Mets and the Phillies fire their managers. And that's, I don't know what Cora was to cash, but I'm sure that was a big ticket. Sure. First guy fired too. Well, I wonder what a parlay would have been on the Mets and the Phillies to miss the playoffs. Yeah. I mean, 6 teams get in. It seems like it'd be almost impossible for both of those teams to miss. Check out the VSiN Daily Diamond, sharp daily baseball betting insight all season long. It's Jensen Lewis and Dave Ross, and they break it all down. Lines, totals, props, and futures. Subscribe to the VSiN Daily Diamond wherever you get your podcast and search VSiN for the full podcast lineup. Everything from the NBA, college sports, horse racing, and more. We are the Sports Betting Network, and check out the VSiN Daily Diamond. The kid for the White Sox keeps hitting home runs. He's tied with Alvarez. That's a great story. Yeah, and he's a short shot to win the American League Rookie of the Year right now, although the kid from Detroit actually has better numbers across the board. And I'll point this out, too. We're going to find out who the Rookie of the Year is tonight in the NBA. What do you think? Prediction markets right now, Cooper Flagg is almost a $7 favorite. Unbelievable. So did enough voters really change their mind from that straw poll, or is this maybe an Arvell Reese situation all over again? I think it's prisoner of the moment. It's the ballots were sent out late because of Luka and Cade, and then they saw what happened in that 1-2 games down the stretch, and then how Knippel struggled in the play-ins. Yeah, we'll talk NFL draft up next. Ryan Heath, Fantasy Points on the program. He wrote an excellent story on landing spots for first-round picks. We'll go over that coming up next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
All right, so now that we're beyond the NFL draft, many ways to look at the players who were selected over the course of the entire event moving forward. This could be a fantasy angle. It could be with player props that are available already to bet on. It could be for offensive or defensive Rookie of the Year. And Ryan Heath joins the program now, has an excellent breakdown and write-up on fantasypoints.com, and he's on the Progressive guest line. Ryan, thanks so much for the time today. How are you?
I'm doing great, guys. Yeah, I've been pulling all-nighters every single day of the draft, so we're through that. Yeah, just get to the fun part, get to talk about all these guys in context with their teams, with their landing spots. So, yeah, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you bet. And earlier today, I tweeted out the story for those that want to get it via X. And let's begin. And basically, it's like landing spots that you liked, you were neutral on, or you did not like for a lot of the first-round picks. And let's get into the first guy that you wrote about. But you really liked the landing spot for Jordan Tyson, yeah, going to the Saints?
I did, yeah. I think the mistake people will sometimes make when it comes to landing spot analysis on a surface level is, I want the guy that's going to be the number 1 wide receiver on his team, which Carnell Tate got that outcome, as opposed to a Jordan Tyson who goes to the Saints. Yes, Chris Olave is there, But looking at the bigger picture, this could be a really, really fun offense. We have seen head coach Kellen Moore as a play caller just be near the top of the league in pace of play almost every single year that he has called plays. It could be a pass-happy offense, and there's just little in terms of ancillary targets to kind of distract around from Jordan Tyson. He's going to get to win across from Chris Olave. I just think it's a really good spot for him schematically, opportunity wise. And he's a player I was a really big fan of pre-draft, was happy to see that the medicals didn't ultimately cause a slide for him. So yeah, he's someone that I'm pretty fired up about.
Okay. You mentioned him and he was the first wide receiver selected. I don't think you love the fit for Tate. What do you think he's going to do?
Yeah, this might be, I'm being a little bit more contrarian. I think it's a totally fine fit in terms of, yeah, he goes and he gets to immediately prove how good he is. But when it comes to what we do, when it comes to fantasy football, when it comes to betting props, just when we're concerned about filling the stat sheet, I'm just a little bit less bullish on this situation with Cam Ward as his quarterback. I am not personally a massive Cam Ward believer based on what he put on tape and in the advanced stats last year. So I'm just a little bit worried about a longer term, or I guess a shorter term ceiling for Carnell Tate in terms of operating in that offense. He's much more of like a boundary receiver that's going to win as a true X against like an opposing team's number one corner. That's not anywhere close to the easiest job on the football field when it comes to filling the stat sheet. So that's the only nitpick I'd have with Tate. Ultimately, I still like him quite a bit. Him and Tyson are similarly tiered for me in just about every format or context or projection or bet that you can make. But I just wasn't quite as crazy about that for him as I was for Tyson.
Okay, so there's a little bit of the good and the bad. Let's get into one of your uglies, I guess, so to speak. And however you would want to attack this, maybe this would be more from a first-year fantasy standpoint or even like a dynasty league. But you were way down on Kenyon Sadiq and also Omar Cooper to the Jets. I love how opinionated you were at fantasypoints.com. Explain to the audience why you didn't like either pick.
Yeah, so neither of them, just even before we get into them being both on the Jets, neither of them have incredible production profiles looking back at their college careers, right? With Price, it's a little more excusable just in terms of he played with very strong target competition at Oregon, still came out at a young age. So you can paint a story, a scenario where he would have been a lot more productive as a receiver, but this is still ultimately like a bet on athleticism, a bet on traits for them to translate to the next level. That's just not the type of prospect that I'm usually as into. And with Omar Cooper overall, yes, very productive in his final season, but really was not earlier in his career. We typically look for wide receivers to produce earlier when they're not the biggest and the oldest and the fastest player on the field. And Cooper didn't until his final season. So that's just a little bit of a negative kind of mark against him as a prospect. But in terms of the Jets, I'm a little annoyed both at the Jets from a real life perspective and a fantasy perspective, because I think these guys are a little bit redundant in terms of how they're going to win, or at least how they're going to stuff the box score, right? Sadiq and Cooper, two of the better parts of their profiles is their after the catch ability, what they can do when they take a screen or a short pass around the line of scrimmage, turn upfield, make guys miss, right? So which one of them is going to take that role is kind of the big question. We don't super know right now. So I think it makes both of them kind of risk reward, low floor type of plays. And of course, I would also argue you have Breece Hall there, who I think is a better short range after the catch receiving weapon than either of them. I'm a huge Breece Hall fan, and they haven't used him that way really at all over the past year with this current regime that's in New York. So yeah, I have lots of axes to grind with the Jets and their player selection, but that would be my fantasy takeaway is I think all of these guys either take away from each other, or you hope that one of them kind of busts out so that the other one can hit the ceiling in that sort of after the catch design target role.
Okay. So I've seen some crazy projections for Love. You have Connor, you have Algier. I'm seeing 1,200 rushing, 500 receiving, 10, 11 touchdowns. What do you think? What do you expect from him?
Yeah, those are a little bit heavy to me. For Love, I think I'm a little more positive than some people in that he gets clear runway from a receiving perspective, which is important both for fantasy football, for receiving props or what have you. Mm-hmm. I think he's immediately just the best receiver out of the backfield on the team. James Conner at 31 years old off of a foot injury doesn't scare me very much. Trey Benson, I don't think is even a real player at this point. Tyler Algier, very much like a 2-down goal line type of back. So I think Algier is who cuts into him the most, and it's probably just from a touchdown perspective. So the comparison I would make would be Bijan Robinson's rookie year, which is easy because Tyler Algier was also there for that, cutting into him, right? I don't know that he's going over 1,200 rushing yards. I don't know that he's going 10 touchdowns, but he could be efficient on a bit of a smaller workload, like the leader of a committee, 60-40 type of deal. Fantasy managers will probably be annoyed with the amount of touchdowns Algier scores with Love coming off the field, but long term, I think this is solid enough for Love. The talent is going to win out. The Cardinals can be in a position to add at the quarterback position later going into 2027 and beyond.
Okay, very good. Well, how about a bet on his college roommate to win Offensive Rookie of the Year? Jadarian Price goes last pick first round to Seattle. And as you were writing about, like, this is his backfield, right? Until Charbonnet is going to come back. When are we talking about? Sometime in October, maybe?
Yeah, I think October might even be like the optimistic timeline because, Charbonnet waited a bit to get his ACL surgery. It could be November. So that is nice. It gives him a little bit more of a runway to establish himself. But what I would say on Jadarian Price and any Rookie of the Year bets is I don't know that he's just going to take over the backfield entirely, right? I think he's going to be the go-to on early downs, will certainly be the leader there. But this is a 200-pound running back with no real receiving profile coming out of college. Even if you look on a per route basis to control away the Jeremiah Love of it all, just not a very efficient or productive receiver. And that's a component that's important for running backs in today's game. So I think even an Emmanuel Wilson is probably going to be involved this year running routes even before Charbonnet comes back. We have seen how Seattle wants to manage their backfield, which is even when they had an explosive 2-down runner type like a Ken Walker, for example, they're supplementing this with Zach Charbonnet at the goal line on passing downs, right? So I think we could see a similar thing with Emmanuel Wilson. So I would shy away from any Jadarian Price Rookie of the Year bets.
Okay, we have 90 seconds left. What would you make of, what did you make of the pick by the 49ers to grab wide receiver DeJon Stribling? That was early on in the second round.
Yeah, here's what I'll say. The history of these big reaches against the media consensus boards is very poor. And it's especially poor for Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers in that era, right? Very rarely have these worked out. Deebo Samuel's the only one that turned into really anything. So I'd keep that in mind, but I'd also keep in mind that Stribling, per Shanahan's press conference after the draft, he basically just said, yeah, this guy fits the F receiving role, which is an important role in the Shanahan offense. It's what Jawan Jennings used to play, where the blocking from this receiver is very important, but it can kind of breed mismatches all around the field. So with that in mind, I would say, look, Stribling has this role cut out for him. He is not going to wash out of the league, even if he's not a productive receiver immediately in a way that someone like a Xavier Legette looks like he's going to do, right? So Stribling's going to stick around in San Francisco. Such a time could come where Kyle Shanahan decides, yeah, let's get this guy 8 targets a game, as literally happened with the Jawan Jennings. So I'd leave that door open. I'm not overall impressed by Stribling's prospect profile, but yeah, just the spot really brings him up and makes him a riser.
You can read Ryan's entire article at fantasypoints.com. Follow him on X at RyanJ_Heath. It was awesome, man. Thanks so much for the time today. We appreciate that.
Win Some, Lose Some is sponsored by The Sharp Plays. Were you a winner last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser! Paulie Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
Rookie of the year later today, Friday, when we got off the air, Alexander Walker, most improved, 200-1. Went from 9 points a game to 20 a game. Friday night, an all-timer. Lakers 40-1 in play at DraftKings. Second team in 29 years to win, down 6+ with 30 seconds. Teams were 1,713-1 the last 29 years in that spot. How about the Lakers? I thought that was going in. LeBron had the game-winning shot. They blew the lead in less than 20 seconds. They didn't even get the last shot.
Yeah.
With the ball up 30 seconds.
With the ball.
That's incredible. And then the silly foul. I mean, the turnover was bad enough. But then fouling Smart, and then another turnover, and then they don't even take the last shot. And the Lakers win in overtime. Most assists in that game. Smart 10-1. Most threes, Smith 8-1. Friday, Holiday and Scoot, most threes. Scoot was 10-1. Most rebounds, Edgecombe was 10-1. Saturday, Suns Thunder, most 3-pointers, Brooks 7-1. Most points, Bain plus 550. Knicks, Hawks, everything cashed. Big ones. Most points, OG 15-1. Most rebounds, 40-1, tied with Cat. Cat, most assists, 30-1. They changed how they played, and Cat being more of a facilitator and dumping it down to OG. Brown said it wasn't by design. It was more on Cat. Just take what's going on. Well, you can't.
Mike Brown, tremendous basketball coach.
You can kill them down low anytime you want. They don't have size. Yeah. Why is this series tied at 2? Both wins by Atlanta by 1 point, and the Knicks have blown them out in the other 2. I mean, it's crazy.
I know.
Cat was 40-1 to have a triple-double because he was awesome. Yesterday, most points, Celtics, Sixers. Your guy Pritchard, 35-1. He was plus 850, most threes. And Friday night, Fox was, no, that was last night. Fox was 7-1, most points in the Spurs game. Subscribe, be part of the team, vsin.com, our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos at Paulie Does Vegas on Instagram. Send them in, we'll put you on. This was all the rage over the weekend. A bettor at the Hard Rock won almost $2 million on a $30 6-guy home run parlay. Surprised they take that, what the risk was, but then again, I guess you're shocked that he hit it. A couple big names in there. Chisholm, Kurtz. He goes 6 for 6. $30 pays almost $2 million.
Does that math add up?
That's incredible. Man, there's a big
$30 is going to pay $2 million. I saw this like wildfire, but
yeah.
I mean, there's
a 7, there's an 8, there's a 6, there's a 5, there's a 5.
Yeah, I just did it on the VSiN parlay calculator. Comes up to that. Yeah, okay.
I don't know about that.
Would you retire betting at this point? What would you do? You're never going to top that ever in your entire life.
No.
And how much are you paying on taxes, by the way?
I would also say it should pay more. You have to go. You can't miss one guy. They all have to hit home runs, and they're not all huge names.
So it was more than 6,500-1. Oh yeah, okay. It's an amazing hit, and you're going to have the story now for the rest of your life.
Yeah. No wonder why that was all over the weekend. Like this was too at the draft. The Saints tweeted this out as well. Look at the dog, okay, at the draft party. Couch is full. He's looking around. Boy, I could really like to sit down. Had a long day, right? Celebration, okay. You're going. You're drafted. Now look at him, okay? Up. Guy's moving. All the excitement, right? This guy's standing up. I just need one more person to get up. Trying to come in, right? Trying to come in. Pats him on the head. Now he stands up. Now you got your spot. Now there it is. The whole thing mapped out. 3 guys stood up. Dog comes in. I'm good now. What are you going to do? I'll take up the rest of the
That's all he wanted.
There it is.
A little sliver of the couch.
He's got the whole thing now to himself. He's on the couch just waiting the whole time as everyone stands up. Hey, lose it, you lose it. It's me. That's my spot now. Lose some. Megan Thee Stallion. What happened? Klay Thompson, man. Come on. He bought her a $400,000 car for her birthday. You introduced, you meet the family.
I don't know. I've heard so much about the story that I don't know what to believe.
Yeah?
Yeah.
She says he cheated on her.
I understand that.
We also go back his history. He was dating this guy. It's the Chris Rock bit. A man's only loyal as his options. I mean, this guy was dating a supermodel, and she put him on blast too. She walked in on him in bed with another woman.
Yeah, clearly there's going to be, he's never going to be satisfied here. I mean, if
they were living together, I thought. Oh my God.
The amount of time I've watched her twerk on Instagram, and he's not satisfied with that.
I know.
Okay.
I know. Okay. It's a bad beat all the way around. How about a lose some here? Haas sent this in before the show. It's great work by Haas. Oh, he's sitting at the table, right? Table games? And this lady takes her shoes off and puts it up on the chair while she's playing. And he just like incognito, Columbo, I'm going to take a picture right here of you, put you on Front Street. Good job, Haas. Living in a society. Look at that. She got a bag or something and just sitting there and takes her shoes off while she's playing cards at the casino? Putting her feet up?
Sure.
Unbelievable.
Why don't you just pick your toenails, too, while you're at it?
Man, I love it.
Drop them on the floor.
I love he took a picture. He's sitting right there of her. Excellent. Awesome. Some bad beats. Obviously, Lakers, Rockets under in Rockets. Money line and Rockets spread on Friday. Carolina, Ottawa, doozy. Under 5.5 or 6 Saturday. 2-1 with 2:30 left. 2 empty net goals, and Ottawa scored. 3 goals in the last 2:30. That's the perils of an elimination game.
Yep.
Goalie comes out, he stays out. Oh, that hurt. The Kings pulled the goalie with 5 minutes left in their game. But they gave up once it was 5-1.
Yes.
But I'm like, here comes another one. Brutal. Sharp plays. Jeff and the crew been with us since day one. Pulling in selections and intel from over 500 pro bettors and sources worldwide across all sports. They send the info to subscribers in real time. The daily Mr. Poison tweets. Check it out. Connected. Does an excellent job. Start winning with them. Respected, watched, and feared. Sharpplays.com.
Point out a little bit of a controversy on Friday night, round 2 of the NFL draft. Did you see what happened here? The Buffalo Bills were on the clock. Now, Matt Humans made a case that betting the Bills at around 8-1 for their first position drafted to be a linebacker it made sense to him, and it made sense to me as well. I bet that. He bet it. I think several others bet it as well. So when the person comes out to announce the 35th, and he said 35th, did you see that?
No.
With the 35th pick in the draft?
I had the sound on the basketball.
I was like, okay.
Yeah.
He announces the Buffalo Bills select linebacker TJ Parker from Clemson. The official, this what you're looking at right now, and this is for the radio audience as well. I'll explain it. Up on the screen, we have the official tweet from the NFL draft account. Round 2, pick 35. Bills select Clemson linebacker TJ Parker. Should be a winner.
Okay.
Graded as an edge.
No.
Linebacker bets were losers.
Oh.
Edge bets were winners. Can somebody explain that one to me? Because they also sent out a link, and when you click on NFL.com, when Parker pops up, it says edge. So they must be going by the official NFL website, but not the Twitter account, nor what the guy actually said on stage. Huh. But how is there that big of a disconnect? I get it, they're kind of similar positions, but you announce linebacker, and on their official X account, it actually says Clemson linebacker, and that's a loser. So that was not fun.
No. Did every place grade it that way?
To my understanding, as of right now, yes. But I only got confirmation from a couple. I don't have like 6 or 7 how they graded it. So, and I don't know if they're all the same or if they're all different, by the way. I don't know if they all go from like NFL.com with the actual player's name and the profile that they go with, but I waited and waited and waited. I'm like, is this going to be a winner? They got to like round 3. It was over with. I'm like, hello? And finally came up as a loser. I'm like, oh, what? Really? So even like little details like that can come back and get you. I thought they were going to go Rodriguez, by the way, from Texas Tech. But then they kept trading back and they kept trading back, and it never happened. So overall, what'd you make of the draft?
Not bad.
Yeah.
Great turnout.
13.2 million watched.
Yep. 800,000 people standing in a parking lot. God bless them. And I'm glad Gunther went too. Love the haircut.
Yeah.
See what happens with Pavia now. I guess I wasn't surprised by that. Someone gave it out, right? Who gave that out on our show? The over.
That was 200.5, I believe.
Yes, right. A little surprised with Nussmeier. We knew Arizona would go back. that happened, right?
Well, that seems a little high, though, for Carson Beck.
Yeah.
We'll dive into player props on the board tonight, NBA playoffs. Who's eating for the injury-riddled Minnesota Timberwolves? We'll discuss with Nick Whalen coming up here on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.